Hi, everybody out there in YouTube land. I'm about to have a breakdown. Um, you know, life just isn't that great sometimes. But today's big problem is that I sent an email to some. Okay, this is my story. I live in Canada. It snows quite a bit. I live in a tiny itty bitty little place. It's not even a place. It's just it's not even a village or town. It has no label anymore. It used to, but it doesn't have it anymore. Anyways, it's called Apahawk. And for 10 years, I've watched the snowplow go by. First, he does my side of the street, and then he does the other side of the street. And the street is narrow. So the big old plow puts 80% of the snow in my yard. 80%. Then he goes the other way and puts the 20% across the street. I could show you pictures because there's hardly any drifts over there. And so my neighbor, who's in his 70s, said to me one day when we were out mutually snow blowing the driveways, he said, "You think that on occasion they'd want to switch it up and do the other side of the road first? Not." And I said, I'm gonna do something about that. I'm gonna call, because you're right. You're right. Every time it's the same way. I know that when I do things, I'd like to switch up a route, I'm going to say this and I'm going to be mean about it. I'm sure snowplow drivers aren't well educated or anything. The guy that I just fucking talked to on the phone, he's not very educated. He read my email and everything. It explained 80% of the snow on my side, that me and my elderly neighbor have to manually move the snow. And now I own another house next to me and I have to manually move the snow. And I spend hours and hours doing it every goddamn time, and it hurts my wrists. But I do it. I have wrist problems. I'm a woman who has used her muscles all her goddamn life. I lift heavy things. I operate machinery. I drive a big bus. I can maneuver anything. I can do it all. And he had the nerve to say to me, after I told them what the difference was, these two neighbors on kitty corner to me on both here. There's no house directly across. Houses here. I said, they hire somebody to plow their driveway, so it's not a big deal for them. And then he said, well, why don't you hire somebody to plow your driveway? Because it costs fucking money, and I have a brand new snowblower, so I use it. I can't afford to hire somebody to come and plow my driveway. I think he must know the people around here, and he must know about me, because people around here don't like me. And I said to him when he said, what's the difference? I said to him, I'm going to ask you the exact same question. What is the difference? And he said something about having to change direction and change the route because they come off of this and that and whatever. My street is 2 blocks long. It is intersected by 3 other streets. If they aren't creative enough to do my half block in the opposite direction, then they shouldn't be doing their fucking jobs. And then he says to me, well, we put all the snow over there, then those neighbors will complain. You know what? They hire people to plow their driveways. They don't care. And if they do care, you can tell them that they can deal with it for the next 10 years, because I'm fucking tired of it, and it's going to give Clayton, my neighbor, a heart attack. I said to the guy, I was like, excuse me, but you seem to be coming up with arguments for nothing. So I told him again about the storm drain. He said, that's right in the middle of the road. I said, no, that's the sewer. That's the manhole cover. The storm drain is underneath that big snowbank in front of my yard that you couldn't see when you came here. Do you know what he said? He said, well, that's our responsibility to look after that storm drain. If you're having a problem with storm drain, you should call us up and let us know. I said, oh my God, you're so funny. I said, about 4 or 5 years ago, I did call you up. The cover on the storm drain is sunken down into the asphalt, probably about 6 to 8 inches lower than what it should be, and it's all loose. I can pick that up myself. I said, you know what's going to happen? I said, one day that cover is going to be a little bit loose because of people driving on it and the snowplow going by. And the rate that he goes by, he's going to catch that grate. It's going to fly up in the air. It's going to fucking kill somebody. Maybe the snowplow driver. Maybe it's going to wreck my car. Maybe it's going to come flying through my front window and take me out. You can go fuck yourself, buddy. You stood there. Whoever came to look at the storm drain when they did, there was 3 of them. There were 3 of them. I'm going to demonstrate how it looked. This is how it looked. 3 of them. Standing around the storm drain. Then they left and didn't do anything. They called me up, told me it wasn't a problem. Meanwhile, if you drive over that hole, you're lucky you don't lose a tire. You're lucky you don't have a flat tire. You're lucky your car doesn't bottom out. If you got a low range car and you drive in that hole, especially in summertime, because some people don't know it's there. I get really tired of men who think they know what the fuck they're talking about, not knowing what they are talking about. I'm not even high today. Something different happened to me last night. I'm embarrassed to say, because I have a fucking temper, and it's the COVID. Not that that matters, but every once in a while I hit this wall. It's like I've run out of intolerance, or I've run out of tolerance and patience for all the other humans on the planet. And it comes to a head. Bang! I woke up not having a good day yesterday because of that very reason. And then, you know what the fucktard that I did? I don't date him. I don't, because dating would require going out and doing things together, but we don't do that. He's an alcoholic, and he's been back on the scene for a bit, and I've been really understanding toward his plight, and he's been more verbal about it and communicative about it, and personality characteristics are coming out in him that I haven't seen in the 10 years that we've been together. I haven't seen. It's somebody new. It's somebody I really like. I can do and say whatever I want when he's around. I can have my friends over and he actually talks to them and doesn't escape into a bedroom to be by himself. He jokes and carries on conversations with people. It's amazing. And all through this time, I've told him, I know when you're spiraling out. I know when you've had a drink. I've caught him now since August. I've caught him drinking. Because he's a binge drinker, quiet. He just goes away, or he does whatever he's doing. He's been working on a house that I bought, the house that I keep mentioning next door. And so last night, I should have known something was up when he said he was going to go over there and work until dark, because it's fucking cold here, and he doesn't like the cold at all, because his profession before he semi-retired was working in the cold, hates it. And I encourage him, don't go over there if it's too cold. Just come in, relax. We'll watch some TV, have a puff if I want, because he doesn't hardly partake in that. But anyway, he came over to the house at about 5:15. I was cooking supper. I had just gone for groceries. $152 later. He doesn't contribute to that because I'm looking after him because he's working on his house next door. And he stays here for nothing. And I look after him. I do his laundry, cooking, cleaning. I'm not sleeping with him. He has his own room. I can't emotionally commit to somebody who's going to fuck around with my emotions periodically because they have a drinking problem they can't control. And I guess I'm just the dumb one. He goes back to his house like 2-3 days a week. If he wants to do his drinking, then that's fine. I mean, it's not fine, but it's his life then, right? It's his. It's not, I have boundaries, and I'm tired of him crossing those boundaries. I really am, because it's hard on my mental health. So, yesterday when he showed up in the house, I knew he'd been drinking. I knew it by the look in his face, and it's just a matter of connecting the dots. Oh yeah, you were in town today. Like, normally he's stuck here. He's not going anywhere, and it's COVID, so he doesn't have to go to town, but he had to get his truck fixed. And afterwards, he said he had to stop a couple places, Kent's, get some lumber and whatever for the house. And it's all about me, He stopped and getting all that stuff. I was like, fine, didn't even think anything of it. But then he came in the house, and it was noticeable that he'd been drinking. What signs? Well, the typical signs that he has. It's just a complete change of person. There's no talkity talk. There's no nothing. There's just like this blank stare. His eyes get really wide. And of course, the slurred speech. And he thinks he sounds fine, but he really doesn't. And then he was staggering a little bit. And I'm like, oh, look out. You know, like I said, have you been drinking today? No. Well, I know you have, so you might as well just come clean with it. Like, it's okay. I knew that there would be times when you'd fall off the wagon. All you have to do is tell me that you did, and it's fine. Because lying, that's what I can't stand. Because I know it's happening. Like, I see it. I'm not fucking crazy. I tell them all the time. I have dated alcoholics, recovered ones. I have dated drug addicts, recovered ones. My son is an addict, recovering, not really. You know, my best friend's an addict, recovering, not really. You know, she may not drink, but she smokes dope all the time. And if she's having a bad day, let's get fucking high. And I'm talking about high so that you're not functioning real well there, chickie poo. You think you are, but you're not. And sometimes when I don't expect it and she's that high, it kind of pisses me off. I say condescending, sarcastic things to her that are funny to me. It makes her laugh too, but I just want somebody to be there. You know, hello, are you in there? So last night, I confronted the significant other. He denied it. I frantically went around my house looking for these alcohol test strips that I'd bought a while back. I'd already used one on him before. And then to make sure that they worked, I used one on myself because I have a drink. I don't drink in front of him. So my drinking's gone down like significantly since he's been around. And besides that, it doesn't make me feel very good. Half a bottle of wine just doesn't feel good in my belly anymore. So I don't really care. So at must have been about 6:30 or so, after I looked and looked and looked, couldn't find the test strips, he went to bed. He went to bed and shut out the lights. He didn't even eat the chili I made. He ate nothing. I'd made like a little mini pizza thing, and because he likes pizza and chili, he likes chili. No, wasn't going to eat any of that. So I went in the room and turned the light. What the hell are you doing? He's in there with his dog. Lights off, in bed. I said, no, you're not getting away that easy. Why would you be in bed at 6:30? I asked him again if he'd been drinking. He said no. My volume got higher. I asked him to show me his bank statement on the phone, because the last time we went through this, he had cash because I had given him some. So when he showed me the phone the last time, I couldn't see the alcohol purchase on there because he paid cash. But what he didn't know, and what he always doesn't know, or doesn't appear to know, is that I'm fucking smarter than you are, asshole. And I had taken the phone the last time after he'd opened his bank thing, and I just went back to August. This was like in November. I went back to August to see what August was like. He bought a 750 milliliter, that's a quart, I think they call it, for US people, of tequila every 2 days. In the month of August, I counted, like I only counted 2 weeks worth. And it was 2 weeks, or every 2 days he was at the liquor store spending $34.99 on the same bottle of tequila that I confiscated or found twice in the console of his truck while he was working on the house next door. He would go to the truck and take a drink, go to the truck and take a drink. And sometimes he'd come in the house and he'd make an excuse about going to the truck because he forgot something or he's got to put something in it. And that was like, ting, ting, ting. Oh, I see what's going on here. And I went out and got the bottle. I mean, what the fuck? Do you think I'm fucking stupid? So last night I asked him to open his phone to his bank statement thing. And that's the first time he said a word in like 15 minutes. Why? because I want to see your charge to the liquor store so that I can be right about the lying. See, it gets out of hand. It gets so out of hand if he just said, yeah, I'm guilty. I did it. I went to the store. I was drinking. I'm so sorry. I had a hard time. I should have called somebody. Should have called a sponsor, whatever. He doesn't go to the meetings. I think he went once or twice. He thinks he's above that. He thinks that his kind of alcoholism isn't the same as other people's alcoholism because he equates it to being a fucking loser. Well, guess what, man? You can check that box. Because if you don't fix yourself now, you're going to live a long, lonely, pathetic life. Not to mention, he adopted a dog last November. Not 2020 November, 2019 November. And when he started hanging out with me again in August, the following, so 2020 August, the dog didn't even know how to piss inside, outside. She didn't know what was supposed to go on at all. She was a 4-year-old dog. He says that she didn't know how to do that before he got her. She just had to spend a few months with me. Now she actually sleeps through the night and doesn't piss and shit on the floor. Doesn't whine to get up in the middle of the night. He would feed her at 3 o'clock in the morning. Do you think that you're going to get a night's sleep for the rest of your life if your dog thinks that 3 a.m. is dinner time? No. I have 2 dogs. He had 1. Now they're all on the same cycle. But they won't be now that he's gone. And I'm sure he may not be back. So, to continue on with the story. I feel like I should smoke something now that I'm getting into this rant. It might be a little bit more funny, but let's not make it like that. I'm waiting on a phone call too, and I might record that while I'm having it, just because I anticipate it's not going to go well. So he wouldn't open his phone. Now it's an iPhone 4, and I told him he needs a new phone anyway, a while back. So I said to him, if you don't open this phone, I'm going to smash it. Because I'm crazy like that. Just ask anybody. I'm sure the guy that I talked to on the phone about the snow plowing heard that I'm fucking crazy. But you know what a crazy equates to in a small town? Bitch. Bitchy, crazy. It describes any single woman who owns her own home, drives her own car, pays her own bills, buys another house next door. Like, holy fuck, man. I'm emasculating every fucking man in this neighborhood because they couldn't do it on their own without their wives looking after them, cooking, cleaning, feeding, working, bringing home the cash, looking after their kids, taking out the dog, whatever it is. There's only one neighbor on my street that speaks to me. I don't know anybody on the second block. I barely know anybody on this first block. And it's not that I'm antisocial. When I first moved here, I left cookies for everybody. I think I might have mentioned that in a different thing. Anyways, let's get back to the story. So he didn't open his phone. So I took it. I gave him 3 chances. I so much didn't want to smash that phone. I didn't want to. But in the end, on the 3rd chance, I said, do you want me to smash this phone? He said, go ahead. So I went out in my back porch. Sometimes there's tools back there. I couldn't find a hammer. So there was this rusty old horseshoe that he found in the basement of the house next door, and that was there. So I smashed the living fuck out of his phone with that. Doesn't work anymore. After I smashed it, I threw it outside. In the meantime, cut my hand all to fuck. That one's a little deeper than the others. But don't worry. I had my medical records, and I looked them up, and I had my tetanus shot in 2015. Now, I just want you to know, I'm not a self-centered, self-absorbed bitch unless I need to be. And that is when my livelihood is threatened and people get in my way. Or people make me blow heavy snow and then tell me, what's the difference? If I could have reached through the phone and punched that fucker in the face, I would. I did swear at him. He wasn't making any sense. He couldn't even carry on a conversation. What's the difference? Exactly. What is the difference? And he said, oh, well, then we'll have to figure out a new plan. It's a half a block. It's a half a fucking block. Do I need to draw it out? I'll draw it out if I have to. Oh, my God. Anyway, so the hand got all cut up. It's a little swollen today. It's not too bad. I'll live. But for a person that uses their hands to work, it could cause me some problems. But we'll see. So anyway, after that, I told him he had to leave. It's not my problem that you drank and you shouldn't be driving. Those were the rules in my house to keep me sane. But I fell off the insanity boat right into the cold fucking water. So he went, collected all his things from the bedroom and the bathroom, put them in his great big duffel bag, got all his dog's shit. Poor dog. Took him out to his truck, which is parked right beside my house here. So after a few minutes, there was no truck running. I thought, that's weird. Like, isn't he going? I looked outside. No lights on in the truck. No lights on in my house next door. There's no power over there. So I thought, what the fuck is he doing? Is he like going to camp out in his truck or next door? I found him sleeping in his truck before. I found him sleeping standing up in my garage before. I'm an idiot. So anyway, I went over to the house. The back door was open, as it normally is if he's in there working, because it's not a big deal if the door's open, but he was in there in the dark. It's like, what are you doing? Get my tools. Now I'm going to tell you. He's got so many tools in there, they wouldn't fit into my covered trailer, and it's 10 by 5. Like, so many tools. And it's pitch black, and probably about -15 last night. I said, you're going to get your tools in the dark. You're going to round all these up and truck them across the snow and put them in the back of your truck. Because I do snow plow really well, and I make pathways around the yard, but there's no direct pathway from the house directly to his truck. It's around. You have to go around a little bit. Anyway, he said something again, and I was like, okay, whatever. If you want to do that, you go right ahead. And so, oh no, that was the second time. The first time I just told him to get out. I said, just get in your truck and go. So he comes, he gets in his truck, he starts it up, he lets it warm up a little bit. Then he takes off. Okay, so I watch out my back. I see him go down my street. Then there's Intercolonial Street, and I saw his truck go and brake lights on at the stop sign at the end. I can see all this from my house. But then I watched to see if he'd go on the main street that's over there. Nobody went by. And then I looked to go if he had turned the other way. No. So then I came to the front window again. I look out. Now I can't see the driveway of the house next door, but I saw some lights get turned off. Like headlights. So he'd parked over there. Like a fucktard. So I go over there. Sure enough, back door's open. I took my time. I wanted to catch him because I know he was after that bottle. He couldn't bring it out the first time when I caught him in there because then he would have been caught. So he got in his truck, he drove away, then he sneaks back, and he's back in the house. So I go over there, flashlight in his face. What the fuck are you doing? He says, getting my tools. I said, you're going to lug all those tools because you can't pull into the driveway, but there's a great big fucking dumpster in the way. You can't get to the backyard to get the tools out. And I would see him if he was going out the front door. When I got to him, he was standing at the back door on his way out. So I'm thinking that maybe he stuffed the bottle down his pants. I'm not sure. I shoved him back and I was getting mad. It's like, what the fuck you doing? Da, 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 da. Anyway, I said, have a nice life. When we walked out the door, I said, have a nice life, and I shut the door. Because he was indicating he was taking all his things, and I just assumed that he meant that he wasn't coming back. Well, fuck you. I don't care. I don't care. If that means more to you, to make me like this. I smashed a phone. I cut my hand. I'm losing my mind. I don't like lying. I don't care if you drank. You made a mistake. You get back up on the horse again and you ride down the road until you fall off again. Isn't that the way it goes? I don't understand it. I don't have a problem. I drink a little every once in a while. I smoke a little dope. Maybe I've got borderline personality disorder. Maybe I'm just hard to get along with. I don't know. I don't think that's the case. I'm doing the best I can. And it's starting to weigh on me. I'm 52 years old. What's going on out there, people? What's going on out there? Anyway. So now I don't know what to do. It makes me feel like crawling into a little hole. Not to mention that when this was all going down, I was texting my friend, the one I mentioned earlier that smokes too much dope. She goes to bed early, yeah. Usually about 8:30. Last night I'm texting her, I'm telling her what's happening and that I'm having a breakdown and stuff, and she was like, just try and calm down, I'm going to bed. Really? She has her troubles at her house too. I wouldn't want to be in her shoes at all, but I'll rest assured, if I was, I wouldn't still be there. Either that or I would have killed him already. Him being her husband. He's not nice. He's up and down all the time. He makes her responsible for every fucking thing. Yeah, she was a drinker for 17 years of them being together, but she's been sober, drinking for 5 years. I'm sure she's a different person. I didn't know her beforehand, but I told her, I said, we couldn't be friends if you ever start drinking again, because she can create some bad influences for me, and I've been the bad influencer with my friends in my life, you know, like, I have some friends that only smoke dope with me, but they think it's fun every once in a while to do that sort of thing with me. And now I seem to smoke dope every day, when I used to tell her that, you know, I don't do that. I don't smoke dope during the day. I smoke it at night when I'm going to relax and sit and watch TV. Her ideas are, let's get really high and go for groceries. We did that yesterday. I had a puff before we left. She had a puff with me. I had my vaporizer up and going and stuff, and that's all fine. Gives you a nice little kick. But by the time I got to the grocery store and halfway through, I wasn't high anymore. Yet she's really high at that point. I said, I'm not even high anymore. Why are you high? Oh, I had some pot butter before I left the house and it just kicked in. Ha ha ha! Oh yeah, that's good. So on my Facebook today, fucking Facebook, I'd get rid of it if it's just for me. I like to keep track. I like to take pictures of what I'm doing and stuff like that. And then when it comes up on my memories, I look at it. It's fun. It's funny. It's all that stuff. I don't go around commenting on other people's shit. And I don't really even have that many friends on there. Excuse me. My nose is running. My decision making on the friends list is, if I won't go for coffee with you and have a sit down conversation, then what the fuck are you doing looking at my business? You know what I mean? So I put all my blocks up and stuff like that. And it's for my mom too. She's old. She just turned 83. She's got Facebook. She likes to keep track of what I'm doing. She just lives down the road, but we can't be together all the time. We get orange and then we get red and then we're back to yellow and who the fuck knows. And she's elderly and, you know, she's in my 10 people now. We got a 10 people bubble. And I'm mad at one of my 10 people and the other one I may not ever see again because he's a fucktard. And so my circle just keeps getting smaller and smaller. I don't know what to say. I wish this guy would call me back, because I got a couple calls out there. I got my sewer bill for the house next door, the first one ever, and they said it was $1,575, but the 6-month fee is only $315. How come house next door? And that guy too, I've had run-ins with him. Isn't it funny? The last time I had a run-in was like Okay, well, you're the manager of the Appahock Sewer Commission. Where are the sewer lines going through my yard? Because they just put this sewer in 1985, and that was before me. So you'd think there'd be a map in case anybody ever wanted to do an addition or drill some holes or whatever, showing where the sewer line goes. Well, I've had speculation from several people who have lived here for a long time, but they can't remember exactly where anything is. So I was asking this guy, well, where are the goddamn lines? Because I want to possibly put a bigger deck on the back of my house and I have to drill piles down in the ground, and then you're going to be mad because I'll run into the sewer or whatever. Nope, they have no map of that. They map the street, but who knows where it goes through on the yards? It shows no diagrams and lines coming out of the houses and going onto the street. Like, it gives no indication at all. So, and I had to go around. He sent me chasing my tail, trying to find out where these sewer lines were. Never did find out. Nobody knows. Even the big company that put the sewer in, they don't know where the sewer lines are. You'd think they would have taken a map. Jesus fucking Christ, are these people stupid? And then that snowplow driving guy, holy shit. I'll tell you, Kevin Dunfield's his name. I'm sure I've had some dealings with him before. I know the Dunfield name, but he must be the fucking idiot Dunfield. I don't know, because I know that there's a Dunfield here, that he's a doctor. He's quite a sweet man, and I sure hope that he's not related to this Kevin guy. And I might just go on Facebook later and creep around, see who this fucktard is related to, and send him a message saying, you're a fucktard. I coined that word from Chris Porter, one of my favorite stand-up comedian guys. And I know that this post isn't funny at all. This post is sad, and I've cried a couple times, and I'm just irate about the whole situation. I don't know what to do now. It is Friday. I'm sure that guy, I'm not going to hear from anybody. I'm going to have to call somebody. Because, this creates anxiety for me. It's a lot of anxiety. Why won't they fix the snow plowing situation? There's no house across my street. I don't think it's up to the people across the road to, if they're going to complain, they're going to complain. I think I'll call my neighbor Clayton and give him the phone number to call this supervisory guy. Because Kevin didn't even know how to operate a phone. I gave him the number. And it was in my email, my initial email. And then I get an email from, maybe that was from him. Let me see. Email from Pierre Robichaud. I don't know who that is. Sincerely. Yeah. Oh, Pierrette. Oh, that's a woman. Isn't that neat? This might be a short one today, unless you guys want to entertain me smoking some dope. I don't think I'm going to. I have some stuff to do, and maybe I'll just continue it later. I'm sure that's possible. Okay, well, wish me luck, everybody, because the weekend's coming. The weekend means nothing to me. I'm self-employed and I do what I want when I want to do it. So I've told everybody, I was going to say, I was on the Facebook and I said to everybody that I won't be reachable. There'll be no visitors, no drop-ins, nothing. For 4 days, I'm going to sit in here. For 4 days, I might be communicating with you, which is just YouTube at this point, but I'm sure somebody at some point is going to stumble across this and feel the need to listen to me ranting and carrying on. My dogs are petrified, by the way. They heard enough yelling last night that they're not even coming anywhere near me today. Hee hee hee. Okay, I'll check in with you later.